Hello and welcome to NewFilmmakers Los Angeles in partnership with Movie Maker magazine. My name is Danny DeLillo. We're here at the South Park Center. I'm delighted to be joined with Espie with his movie Project and Serve. Let's take a look at the clip.
Son, you're black. This is life and death. Pay close attention.
Espie, welcome to the NewFilmmakers LA family. We'll forever be celebrating you. And thank you for bringing your film to us.
Thank you.
For those that haven't seen it, tell us a brief synopsis.
Project and Serve is about that awkward conversation that Black and brown parents have to have with their children about how to deal with law enforcement. So it's, I noticed in film, like it hadn't been committed to film yet, this idea, because we talk to each other about it, but we don't talk to white people about it. And so I was like, let's talk to white people about it. Mm-hmm. Let's let them see it. And this is, we have the birds and the bees, and then we also have the, here's how you deal with cops.
Yeah.
And that's real.
And I mean, we're living in a city that it's been notoriously throughout history, pretty horrific actually, like seriously, and it's not getting any better. Obviously there's drawn a lot of inspiration to the sad facts, true life from history to today as well. Mm-hmm. But when was that moment for you, Espie? You're like, I have to turn this idea into a film.
I've been through these situations, but I didn't know how to tell the story. Mm-hmm. And so I had to come into a place of feeling comfortable to tell the story.
Yeah. Because
you don't really feel like you can say that to white people's faces. And so these are actually like moments from my, when I was like 18, 19, 20, 21, and those moments of my life. And I committed them to film now, so I felt safe to do it now, so, it takes a while, honestly.
Well, you said yesterday at the festival that kind of one of those moments that you had was inspired by like a quote.
Yes.
So tell us a little bit how, because that had a resonance, and of course you had some of those, extended quotes in there with James Baldwin. Tell us about how you journeyed into that part.
Right, so here we go, let's reach into the podcast.
There we go. Oh, look at you. See?
I'm ready.
You are so ready.
She ready. So this is the book with the quote. And so, yeah, I found this quote. It fell off my coffee table. Mm-hmm. I bought it. I thought it was a real book. I thought it was like a full book, but because I bought it on Amazon.
Yeah.
And then I got it, and I was like, well, I bought a tiny book. It's an essay. And this is the quote. It's right here, the quote that the film is based on.
Yeah.
And it fell off my coffee table. I picked it up and I said, I knew it was 2020, and I knew I needed to be writing and creating something that was about race relations and law enforcement and those things. And then I picked this up, and then that quote popped out, and then here it is, and there it is.
There you go. There you go. I love the style in which you told this film. I love the lens of the actors and the perspectives and the dialogue that you put into the film as well. And how did you, knowing that taking this idea, taking from experiences, how did you go about bringing your cast together, and how do you work with your cast as a director as well?
I let them be. Here's the thing, I'm gonna be honest, I really wanted to separate, Brian, who plays the police officer, and Prince, who plays the son, and then Cedric, who plays the father. Cedric and Prince, I really wanted them to get along and stuff, but I like things to be really authentic, so I really didn't want Prince and Brian to talk to each other that much.
Yeah.
And so I separated them for, they auditioned together, but then after that I was like, okay, no, they don't, I'm not giving them each other's contact information or whatever, because y'all need to, this needs to feel real. And so a lot of what you're seeing when you watch the film is actually real. Brian went all out, and he kept pushing Prince, and he kept asking more questions and things. Things are not in the script, and I'm going And like people, it's so funny because people on the set were just like, I was really uncomfortable. I was like, great, we did our job.
That's good. That's good. And is it nice as a director when you get those moments when they're kind of so lost in their characters, they're just kind of.
Yes, except for this is not good. You know, like
Yeah.
it's not a fun space to play in.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you know, the one thing I think was, you know, is always important when you're talking about this particular subject, which is so resonant, particularly in this city, in this state, in this country, and around the world too, is making people feel uncomfortable about the truth. And like, I'm just curious for you personally, like, what did you, like, you know, in terms of like, you know, black and brown people know what that feels like, you know, from their perspective, but what did you kind of want your audience to experience from your film and almost take away from your film?
I think that as a director, all we're trying to do is communicate a feeling. I want you
Yeah.
to feel something. Laughter, happiness, uncomfortableness, be scared, something. I'm communicating a feeling with you. And so I'm always just trying to make you feel something. If I made you feel nothing, then I failed. I don't care if you hate my work.
Yeah.
Like, that's wonderful. But I need you to have felt something by the time you leave. I think that when we lose in life is when we watch something, experience something, and we don't feel anything.
Yeah.
And then we don't connect to it, you know?
Yeah.
It's about the human experience.
Yeah.
And also, I have some questions
These deep pockets, I love it.
for you.
Oh, for me?
Yeah, because I'm gonna make you feel uncomfortable for a minute.
Sure. Go ahead.
Just random questions I wrote down.
Okay.
What is your favorite song on the new Beyonce album?
On the new Beyonce album, I haven't listened to the full album yet because.
Oh my goodness.
But I did go to Renaissance on her birthday, and that's mainly because me and my ex-partner, we wanted to share a time. We went to Renaissance on her birthday.
Yes.
We wanted to listen to it together.
Okay, so what's your favorite song on Renaissance?
Renaissance, probably Alien Superstar for me.
Okay, what do you think the third act is? That's not even one I wrote down. That's
The third act of Beyonce.
like, because, you know, first act was Renaissance, the second act is Cowboy Carter. So what is the third act? What do
I
you
don't
think?
know yet. I don't know where she's going to take us. But all I like is that I like what she did in the first act. I think she really gave a platform to her queer black people,
Right.
which is really great. And I was there, and I was fully kitted out in my kit with my cowboy hat on.
But we didn't know the significance of the cowboy hat at that moment.
I did because I wore it. So I had premonition.
You had the
towards that.
premonition of knowing, okay.
Second thing is, you know, black people also created country music, so I love that that's kind of been brought back to the base of where that's at.
Yeah.
But the third act, listen, she's Beyonce. I'll go wherever she takes us.
Did you like my film? Don't lie.
I've watched probably about 10,000 short films. I am on many different juries and panels, and I do a lot of. I'm a producer by day. I have a company called Sweet Humans.
Okay.
And
I
my
love
whole
it.
goal is to create safe spaces for all kinds of people and perspectives and experiences without getting a pat on the back. With your film, as I married a black man, and knowing what that
the
was
plot
like,
twist.
knowing what that was like during the George Floyd days.
Wow.
I didn't let him go in the car alone during that whole period when there was tanks outside.
Damn.
So we almost left the city because I didn't feel
Safe.
he was safe
Yeah.
in this city.
Yeah.
And he's a 6'5" black man, looks like he can handle himself.
He got it worse than me, bro.
But, you know, and even when I saw him yesterday, we had conversations and about just like, my God, is things ever going to change? So I would say that for me personally, even though we're not together anymore, you know,
sorry.
I worry about him every day he goes out in a car by himself.
It's so strange. It's like I was walking to Trader Joe's at 8:30 in the morning the other day, and this white woman was walking in front of me, like 20 feet in front of me, and I'm just walking to Trader Joe's. Like, I'm in Toluca Lake walking to Trader Joe's. I'm not doing anything, you know? I have my headphones on, I'm living my life. And she, at a certain point, we start passing Patty's, the restaurant. It's bright. And she stops, and she goes like this. And she stops, and she lets me go past her. And I'm very confused as to what's going on at this moment because I don't even know that this woman exists. And And then I'm like, okay, and I pass her, and then she starts walking behind me. And I'm going like, what just happened? Like, I've never robbed anyone. I've never, it's like, I'm like, what is happening? And then guess what? Guess where we were all going? To Trader Joe's.
Well, I think the one thing, going back to your film and going back to what your film is about, when you've had any form of adversity, if you are part of a community that feels like, you feel either less than, you feel the community doesn't feel like they respect you in the way that you should, if it's underserved, underrepresented, what happens is there's a PTSD that sits with you. I've been beaten up as a queer person, and so I worry about like that. I've been held at knife point as a queer person. And so I think there's this ongoing PTSD that exists. And so with your film, for example, the reason why I loved your film and your film was important was because people don't realize what it's like to be in that position, and that natural PTSD that can come, even when it may not even end up in the way that it goes, there's a natural feeling there that can really
And that's
be
why.
hurtful.
Yes, I love that. And that's why, like, if you notice, like, when we're in the scene of the interrogation of the police officer, I put you right next to him. You're here. And I had to fight a lot of people to get that to happen, but it was like, no, I need you to be right here in the passenger seat, sitting and looking there, because I think there's this idea of like, well, why didn't you just comply? Like, people always like to say that kind of nonsense. Why didn't he just comply? And I put you right there. I go like, well, would you comply now? Like, and no, when you are sitting there in the moment with the person, looking at them with them, you don't comply. You go, I feel threatened. And here's what I want to say really quickly. See, I'm doing too much. All right, but let's keep going. Here's what I want to say is, why did he run is an important question. And the answer is because he knew he was about to be murdered. And he ran because he was sitting next to his murderer. Let's talk about it. So it's like he ran down the street and then you shot him and killed him. So he knew you had the capability and the instrumentation to commit murder. Anyways, we're gonna have to cut all this out. So.
Well, listen. The most important thing is what's the power of filmmaking,
yes,
and the power of storytelling is this ability to have this platform for communication on the moving image. There's nothing more powerful than the moving image. So
there is.
It's really great that you are a filmmaker. It's really great that you're a storyteller. And the only way we're ever going to improve anything in all the stories we've had at NewFilmmakers in 17 years, not just what's going on right here with this particular story, that's the platform that moving image has locally and globally. And we've had so many amazing stories, like, oh my goodness, yesterday, with people from all different amazing perspectives. And that's the power of film, which leads me to say, what's next for you, Espie? What are you next working on?
Okay, so, but off of what you just said, I always say, like, if a picture's worth 1,000 words, then a motion picture is worth like 1 billion words. So we have to be really, really responsible with the images that we create. And, because they affect how we feel, and if we feel seen and things. Going to film school is a horrible experience for a person of color, for a queer person, for a woman. The history of American film is the history of racism, misogyny, homophobia in America, and it's horrible to look at. And so, like, going to film school is terrible. It's a terrible experience because you just have to watch these images that you're excluded from or being marginalized in. So I think that's the end of what I'm saying.
What's next for you, Espie?
What's next for me? I don't know. I will pick up that book here. Let's pick it up and pick a quote. Let's do that. Hold on. Here.
Sure.
Pick a
okay.
page. Pick a page.
Well, firstly, thank you, James. We appreciate you. We appreciate you, James. Well, I think I'm going to actually take the last page, which is, he only conveys to us that the factory, at the unbelievable human expense, produces unnameable objects. So there you go.
Unnameable objects. That's the name of the next film.
Well, Espie, listen, I'm glad that you're a filmmaker. I actually appreciate, for the first time, having 1,000 questions. Nikki or Cardi, well, I unfortunately, in this case, I love you, Cardi. I love you so much, but I'm going with Nikki right now because I love pink.
All right.
So there you go. Anyways, much appreciated, Espie. Welcome to the New Filmmakers LA family.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing your film to us.
Thank you.
Thank you for bringing questions upon me, and much love to your next feature.
And I
film.
loved hearing about your experience. Like these are the things that we don't speak about, and this is what we need to be talking about. So I'm here to just start conversations. They're gonna be crazy, silly, fun, whatever, but we're gonna talk about something. And so the next thing we're gonna talk about is these unspeakable objects, apparently.
Thank you very much, Espie. Welcome to the New Filmmakers Los Angeles family, and looking forward to many more of your projects. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I had a great time.